Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and welcome to the new card report. Phantom Nightmare has had some reveals, not the least of which include ample opportunity for players to now declare that they are going Goblin mode. That's right, a new Goblin archetype is coming, and so am I. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at those cards, and I'll go change my pants. It's a fucking sex joke, kind of. We start with Goblin Rider Dzeef the Assaulter, a level 3 Earth Warrior that on normal or special summon can add a Goblin Rider spell or trap from deck to hand, and even better, is able to special summon itself from the hand by detaching an Xyz material from an Xyz monster on the field. That does not specify an Xyz monster you control, simply one on the field. That's right, Goblins hate cats, and I never wish to face this deck when I'm playing Pearly. What more needs to be said about this card though, really? It's a Stratos type monster that can summon itself from the hand by detaching a material, meaning it's easy to get on board through your own Xyz or potentially even disrupting the opponent's Xyz. It's a good card and a great start for when it is you're feeling like going Goblin mode. Up next is Goblin Rider Clutter the Noisy, also known as the newest nickname that I'll be giving my cat. This level 3 Fire Beast Warrior is a wolf bark, targeting a Goblin Rider in your grave on summon and summoning that target. It can also detach a material from an Xyz monster on the field and summon itself from the graveyard, but it will be banished when it leaves the field. That doesn't matter because this is clearly an Xyz based deck and it won't be leaving the field, it'll become Xyz material, which, you know, can then be detached to the grave to revive it again at some point in the future play. It's almost like they made it good by design. Can someone explain that to me? No? Neither can I. It's really simple, actually. There's one individual who can't explain it, and his name is Todd Howard.
All of this just works.
That's right. It just works. Goblin Rider Boone the Mock Speed is a level 3 Wind Warrior with 1300 attack and 0 defense who's riding a fucking tiger. Hell yeah, dude. Guys will see that and be like, hell yeah, as I just did innately. I couldn't even fight the urge if I'd wanted to. The other ones are riding a hedgehog or a bird. This one's on a fucking tiger. Hell yeah. This one doesn't have an effect on summon, however, sadly. Just an effect to be summoned. The good thing is it can summon itself from the hand or the grave by detaching material from an Xyz monster on the field, and where it really gets better is the fact that it's a quick effect, allowing you to make plays on the opponent's turn, otherwise known as the sign of a good deck. The downside is that if you special summon it on one turn, you can't special summon another copy of Boone here until the end of the next turn, meaning if you're choosing to play on the opponent's turn fully, you won't be making that play on your turn or vice versa. Balancing, I know. Why do they do it? Why don't they just let it be insanely good all the time always? Alright, Zodiac. Alright, Tearlament. Alright, that one guy at Locals who always brings the same deck and for some reason has like way too high of a win rate with it. And it's like, there's no way Lightsworn's that good, right? Who knows? Either way, Locals is fucking absurd. Still, it's Purple Cat, and therefore I like it. Plus, as a rank 3 deck, we may be looking at our newest home for Tour Guide, and that might make my video on it that I just released completely irrelevant. And speaking of Tour Guide, yes, it's in the deck because our next Goblin Rider is Mianda the Cold-Blooded, a level 3 water attribute fiend and a Tour Guide target. On normal or special summon, this can special a Goblin monster from your hand except for a copy of itself, and it has the similar effect as a previous one to summon itself from the grave by detaching Xyz material from any monster on the board, but again, banish when it leaves the field. It's a level 3 with a grave effect. Get the guides ready. Is that a staple for the deck? Probably. It's a pretty good card to make a rank 3, as has been shown for the last, I don't know, decade. What I can tell you is that the snake looks dope that it's riding, and Michael fucking Lykel. When it comes to this deck's visuals, is what I'm getting at. It seems pretty cool otherwise, though. It's 4 like solid cards in a row. Holy shit. Taking a look at their Xyz monsters that you're inevitably piloting into, we start with Goblin Rider Big Head Gabonga, which is absolutely fucking perfect, and I pray that that becomes the exact official TCG translation when we get it over here. Or should I say when we get it stateside, if you too believe that the entirety of the world minus Asia consists of only the United States. To no shock, this is a light warrior rank 3, and it's got 2100 attack and 0 defense, but needs any 2 level 3s to summon. On Xyz summon, it can add any goblin monster from the deck to the hand, and it doesn't have an effect by detaching a material. Instead, if an Xyz material is detached from a monster on the field, you can target a monster on the field and then attach it to this as a material, just for a bit of nifty removal and, you know, fuel to keep your plays going. Also, during each end phase, it can attach a goblin monster from the deck to it as material as well. Mom, get the fucking camera. A new Xyz deck that builds up materials and encourages Zeus plays by virtue of Zeus existing. Really though, the buildup of materials to swarm the board with more goblins seems dope, and the swarming goblins being the easiest way to go goblin mode to make that joke a third time seems pretty fun. It's no win condition, however, and beyond Zeus, you have to wonder what it is this deck's game plan is. Well, that might be the Goblin's Crazy Beast, a new rank 6 Dark Fiend with 2700 attack and 0 defense that needs any 2 level 6 monsters to summon. This big ugly fuck has 3 effects, the first being a quick effect to detach 2 materials from monsters on the field, not just itself, and then target a spell or trap on the field and attach it back to this as material. It also has Dingirsu's destruction protection, kind of, able to detach a material from itself in place of monsters being destroyed specifically. And lastly, if it's in the grave, it can special summon itself for free, and then attach a goblin from the grave to itself as material. Each of these effects is once per turn, except for that last one, the self-revive is rightfully once per duel, because otherwise that would be fucking insane. Despite expecting a Beatrice-type summon condition, I guess the spell and trap will ultimately make this playable, or Konami's just on crack. I mean, anything is possible. I've been told never to say never, but I've now said never 3 times, and really it's more likely that the spell and trap will make this summonable. As it is, it's a pretty solid card, if only as a beater, and other than that, let's get on to that spell and trap that this guy might be removing. Who fucking knows? Let's find out. First up is a continuous spell, and look at that, it's solid. Grand Gathering of the Goblin Riders will have all goblins gain 300 attack for each goblin you control, which is pretty great for going sicko mode on the opponent's life points. Switched it up there, it's sicko instead of goblin. Comedy. To make this card playable, however, they've also slapped on a double summon to get you 2 goblins per turn, which is great. And, of course, one last effect to make 2 monster goblins you control. And I said that one for hire, didn't I? 2 goblin monsters. Target them, and then activate one of 2 effects. Either make both of their levels the level of one of them, or make both their levels become the combined original levels of them, which in layman's term means that you take 2 level 3s and make them level 6, or you take a 3 and a 4 and make them both level 3 or both level 4. And so that's how we get into the Beast. And, you know, incorporate the original goblin monsters as well, because yes, all these little guys on display here are in fact a part of this archetype. They're goblins. It's all goblins all the time, baby. And technically, this allows you to play flex spots with level 4 and, you know, making rank 4 and even rank 7 plays depending on which 2 goblins you're playing and target. So that is worth noting. I don't know if that'll be common, but it's doable. All in all, pretty damn solid card, and of course, it's searchable, which makes it so much better. Crazy to see this well-designed of cards when comparing it to like the dinosaurs from Duelist Nexus. And if you think that it's been solid so far, wait until we talk about the Rhoda. Grand Entrance of the Goblin Riders is a normal spell that can add 1 goblin monster from deck to hand, and will then allow you to detach a material from an Xyz monster on field to special summon a level 4 or lower goblin monster from your hand, making this not just a Rhoda but also extender all in one. But wait, there's more, because you can also banish this card from the grave to detach an Xyz material from a monster on the field and then add a goblin monster from your graveyard back to your hand. What the fuck? Why does it need to do all this? It's the Rhoda. We were already playing 3 of it regardless. We were already going to do it to search monsters. You don't need to push it this much farther by making it double as an extender and then triple as recovery as well. We were gonna play it, you can just make it a little more subtle when you're pushing a deck to be meta viable, Konami. I don't know if you're aware of that. God, this is good. Like, yeah, you need the Xyz monster to really get the most out of it, so sometimes going first you maybe won't be able to get max value out of it, but on the alternative, if you're in a mirror match, if the opponent has an Xyz, or if you've already gotten Xyz from the previous turn, you're about to go the fuck off, aren't you? So, cool. Glad rank 3 turbo is about to go absolute nutter butter. Brave stance here, but yeah, I think the Rota is good. Talk about news here today, huh? And the last card from this wave is a continuous trap, Goblin Rider Stampede. This one has 2 effects, the first letting you quick effect Xyz summon on the opponent's turn using only Goblin monsters you control to get, I suppose, the most out of Mach speed. And also, if you control a Goblin Xyz, you can target a monster, then detach a material from an Xyz monster on the field and negate the targeted monster's effects until the end of the turn. Oh, wow. Ooh. You know, how about that? It's a trap formula synchron of sorts, kind of, but for Xyz summoning. That's where my brain went with it. And it's a monster negate for the deck, which is always important. It's definitely, I think, the weakest card out of everything revealed. Shocker, trap not good. But that does not make this a bad card. It's not exactly shocking that the trap card is underwhelming, but it is a monster negate, which isn't something bad to incorporate. It is searchable, and of course, as of yet, these cards aren't really doing a whole lot to the opponent. Like, they're just building up, and then swinging, I guess, if you've got, you know, 5 goblins and they're each gaining 1,500. But if that's not the case, or you don't have that spell card, you're just kind of like assembling an army of idiots. Not a bad thing, I guess. Link and Xyz spam aren't bad things, but there's better things, isn't there? All in all, I like it. Goblin mode is real, and it's playable now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or maybe it's not, who knows for certain, certainly at this time, whether or not it'll be meta viable on release. I think it's safe to say if an Xyz deck is ever viable, then so are Goblins, most certainly in regards to going second. Going first, the number of detaches needed can maybe hinder things, but honestly, I don't get that vibe too much. Sure, you won't be able to do the mostest, but that doesn't make, you know, it impossible to just do the bestest. The hell is that sentence? What's funniest is all the oddball Goblin cards that we've received over the years that will now have some amount of role depending on how good they are. Goblinberg is a solid starter depending on what it is you're playing and what it is you can search and all that fun stuff. Goblin of Greed can stop the opponent from discarding, and Scrap Goblin is a level 3 tuner to give the deck access to synchro plays, if not just serve as another level 3 Goblin. Not a bad thing. There's also, of course, Goblin Pothole Squad, a monster that turbo fucks over the Trap Tricks matchup. It doesn't shut down Trap Tricks completely, but hilariously there is a card that is such targeted hate for one deck in particular, and that makes me laugh. All in all, I think it's a solid deck. Might be best as an engine depending, packaged alongside another deck like Phantom Knight or Burning Abyss or Punk even. Something to let you make plays so that you don't have to rely on having 12 materials to get all the detaches needed to get your plays going. But realistically, I think as long as Zeus is a thing, this deck's going to be solid in some capacity. Bold take, I know. Strong cards might be strong. Also, again, I'm not playing this deck against Pearly. Fuck that shit. Stop looking at my cats. Leave my cat alone. Stop taking them out from underneath my other cat. What a sense. So, thanks as always go to the LIFD Magnetic Display for sponsoring this channel. It's the best way to support me currently, and it's also the best way to showcase all your goblins. You just put them all on display and be like, yep, I own those. They're on display. There they are. You can tell everyone you're a goblin and you're in your goblin cave and you're goblin mode and you're gobbling down your food and every other dumbass goblin joke you can think of. I don't know where this went, but I do know where it's going. It's going to me telling you to use promo code YGOSTRATS15 for 15% off, and of course to thank LIFD for the sponsorship. That'll wrap it up for this new card report. Just covering some new cards in this one. The video that you are expecting, that is the update, will be out on Friday as usual. And until then, I've been your host, Craigpinions. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe and you can immediately impress not only your smoking Italian wife, but you can impress yourself by becoming a true duelist.